So in this video, we are going to manipulate some of the DOM manipulation live on, I'm taking an example of this oppo.com. So let's see what we can do. Okay, let's explore this one. It seems interesting because here I can explain you the difference between node and children also, which I highly recommend you to read it first. Okay, so if you're just starting out your DOM manipulation journey, just read it out. What is the difference between a node and an element? It is very important. It will be very handy if you know about it. Okay, now I want to select this step. So DOM manipulation basically requires the very first step in DOM manipulation is selecting that element. So there can be multiple ways you can select that element. Okay, so first we should know which element we have, right? So to select that element, we need to have its class, right? So either you can right click on this and go to inspect. It will try to take you on that only, right? So here h3 class desk is this element. Okay, other than that, you can use this arrow function also here. Take this arrow onto anyone, like on this Oppo Reno 85Z, it will take you there. On this, it will take you on its parent HTML. So this inspect a window, it is a Google developer tools. So that is very handy if you don't know about it. These are very handy. One should definitely, it is compulsory to know if you are starting out your front end journey. Even if you're starting out, you should know about it. Okay, right? Now there's nothing to know. We will just learn about it while doing many projects. Okay, so here we have elements. On there you will see all the HTML text of this page, right? On the right side you will see the CSS, the styling applied on these elements. Okay, let's not move away from our topic. So the topic is we need to select this element, right? So we can directly select, right, using this class desk. Now the very first step in DOM manipulation is selecting the element. Okay, now there are many ways in which you can select element, but I always prefer query selector because it is applicable for all the IDs as well as on tags, on class. So I don't need to take care about what information I have. I can always select my element using query selector. So how can we select? Document dot query selector and then dot class name. Okay. Now you must be curious. You should know what is this document. Okay, why we are using document before writing anything. Document dot get element by ID, get element by class name, all this. Why we write document? You should be curious, right? It is very important. Let me tell you in a brief, because document is the starting node of any web page. From there you start. Okay, so you can read more about it, but that is the crux of it. Okay, now our element is selected. Let's see if it is selected properly. So yes, it is there. Now we want to select all the text inside it, right? First, let us see what is there inside it. So it has a text, right? And then you see after hands, it is going into the next line. So there should be a next line tag there. So it is BR here, right? So what is BR? BR is break the line. And then again, we have something, and then the TM is below the main text, right? So we are using sub tag to subscripted, and then the last text, right? So for the time being, I am selecting all the text, but later on I will give you some tasks that you need to select only this one 80 watt super book, right? So so just try your knowledge. First, let us see how we can select the whole text. So we have our element, target element, dot. Now to select the text of any element, there are multiple methods. If you Google it, there is inner text. Okay, you see it is giving the answer, right? Then what we have text content. It is also giving the same answer. Not same. Okay, again keep in mind, here it is giving this /n, /n also in inner text. Here it is not giving that. So just to go through their MDN documentation, read about it, you will know why there is this tag /n, because /n is also the child element, right? So you will know once you will read your documentation that which one is applicable for node, which one is applicable for elements, right? Okay, let's move ahead. So definitely I will go through with text content because I don't want that /n in my answer, right? So now what we want to change the color. So to change the color, okay, let's not go through the changing color, all these things. Let's stick to the basics. So here we are just focusing on selecting the different parts of our element, right? So here we have this element and it has all these childs. So it has 3 childs. So how can we see how many childs the element have? So we have 2 properties for that. Target el dot children. So it will give me child of that element. Then there is one more property, target el dot child nodes. Both gives me the child of that element. But now, why they are given different answer? Because the child can be anything. Child can be a node, child can be an element, depending on in which you are interested. So I always prefer nodes because it gives us all the things that are, because you see, if you will read about the difference between child and node, sorry, element and node, you will come to know that each and every element is a node. Okay. Now here we will see that this is the parent element, right? Now this text is a node, but it is not an element, right? Element means HTML element. The text is not an HTML element, right? But this BR, it is an HTML element. Again, this text is not HTML element, but this sub is HTML element, right? So that is why it is giving us BR and sub only into the children, because children returns us all the elements inside a parent, and it returns as an HTML collection, while child node return all the nodes. And remember, keep in mind, all children are node. So how it is returning? First text. Which text? The first one, the text. Then this tag, BR tag, it is returning. Then again this text, 80 watt supersonic. Then subtext, sub tag, and then TM text it is returning. So you see, that is a difference. That is one of the difference between node and children. There are other difference also, right? Now what we want? Now suppose I want to select this 80 watt super hook only. Then it is not possible to select using this children. It is only possible to select using this child nodes, right? So how can we select it? Which one is the super nook? It is third one. So let's see, it's second one. 0, 1, 2, it's third one only, right? So it is returning 80 watt super hook. So in that way you select different childs of a parent element. So a child, again I'm repeating, a child element can be an element, but it will always be a node. Now depending upon your requirement, you will use either children or child nodes, but I will always prefer child nodes because it gives me all the values and then I can select accordingly, right? Now child node returns node list, children return HTML collection. They are nothing but just a fancy word. Node list is used to store all the nodes as an array, although it is not an array, okay? While HTML collection is the name of the array collection to store all the elements, right? Now, how to convert this node list to HTML collection into an array? That is very simple. You can just use destructuring. So you can directly write like this: target el dot child nodes. So in that way, you will get your array, right? Similarly, same thing you can do for HTML collection. So this is the basic of selecting any element. There's nothing else, right? So we have learned query selector. Using that, you select a single element. Later on, you will use query selector all also. If the same class is assigned to multiple elements, then we should use query selector all. But here it is only assigned to the single element, so we use query selector. Then we saw that how to select the text content of any element. So there are 2 ways: inner text and text content. We saw that also. Then we saw how to extract the child element of any parent element. So again, there are 2 methods: children and child nodes, right? I've already told you about them to you. And then how to convert those node list and HTML collection to array. So that was the topic of this video. In that next video, we will do some changes in them, like changing the color of this text, like moving it from left to right, all these things. So how to do styling, we will see in the next lecture. So that's it. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comments. Thank you.